I want to comment a little bit on the metals, and I want to comment a little bit about people who play the crowd with this silver stuff. I noticed that I guess it was about a week ago I put out a video called I think it was called Silver Expectations. It will hit record highs in 2012. And I noticed I picked up more subscribers on that video than anybody. And I'm not trying to pick up subscribers. I'm actually trying to tell the truth on here versus trying to sell a product per se. And I'm actually, to tell you the truth, I'm going to deviate a little bit more from this silver and gold stuff because this is not the only way to true wealth. That's what people are in this game for, true wealth. And I'm telling you right now, I'm in the process right now of uploading a video on microelectricity, some controversial things regarding that that could possibly heal or do something to work against maladies. Well, the medical racket will steal all your silver in 2 seconds flat, and you'll still be dying of something. You know, I've noticed this enough number of times. So, true wealth is actually a number of aspects of different things. It's not all about this metal, even if it goes up to $1,000 an ounce. There's some way somebody can take it from you. And my game is through all aspects. Now, today being Sunday, it's almost midnight, May 6th, so it's almost May 7th, Monday. Metals are going down. The metals group is still going down. Now, I thought there would be a spring back. You know, I listened to Jay Snipe 4, and he had a very good tip about. I wasn't even aware that they were proposing a 35% margin increase across the board on all the commodities. He made me aware of that, but they delayed it for some months now. Now, considering that they delayed it, I would think the metals would go back up, but they're not. And the oil is still dropping too. Now, I know when there's people talking and they're focused only in on this metal here, silver, they get me aggravated because they're telling you a lot of times, you know, the banksters are dropping the price or they're doing this and that. Well, they're dropping the price on all the commodities across the board at the same time. And you know, when silver goes down more, everybody screams if it goes down more than other commodities. But if it was platinum or palladium or oil or corn or cotton that went down, nobody seems to scream then. And that's just the market doing this stuff. I mean, I know the markets are rigged to an extent. They are. But the fundamentals have a way of catching up. So hang on to the physical silver, and I am mainly in physical silver. I don't trust the electronic markets. I'm thinking that this year may be my last year for messing around with electronic markets. I call it messing around. I will make money on them. I will make profit on them. But I'm going to stay the hell out of them completely and go strictly cash and physical metals after that. This would be my last year. I expect the commodities to go up quite a bit. Now, this 35% proposed CME, proposed margin and rate increase for all the metals and everything, all the commodities by the CME. I personally guess, but you know what? I don't think it's, my instincts are decent. The Obama administration might have been behind that because lower commodities means it's good for the regular people and that's good for the economy. And then he says, look what I'm doing to, you know, the price of food's going down, the price of gas is going down, and things are getting better. That's the game. That's the game. That's what I personally think is going on. But then there's other people in this country that want to cut off Obama at the knees, you know. And I'm not saying all these people are nice, you know. I'm not saying one thing or another, but there are some very hard intramural games that are go on between the people that want to control this country. So I think the commodities are going to go up this year a great deal. Also, sometimes I'm a little suspicious how hard oil got hit. Now, I'm in double leverage oil long, and I'm going to hold it forever till it plays out, because it will play out at one point in time, because I expect Iran to be attacked at some point in time. When they're attacked, the oil is going to skyrocket, then I'm going to sell it. I'll make some kind of profit. because double leverage does not erode that fast. You can keep that a long time before it erodes really bad. Not like triple leverage. You can get really screwed on that stuff fast, a lot faster. But since oil took such a hard hit, and even though there was news about, recent stories about take 3 weeks to knock out Iran and stuff like that, and they got the F-22 Raptor planes in the area. That type of news would actually be bullish for oil. So I'm a little suspicious that an attack might be coming up here in the next month or two. I always suspected it was going to be in the springtime, maybe towards late spring. So we'll see if I'm right about that. Now, I'm going to remark a little bit about a couple other things, and I'll probably get a couple people mad about a couple things I'm going to say. Well, this first thing I'm not going to get people mad at, generally speaking. I want to talk a little bit about this hemp product. This is actually true wealth. Actually, if you were able to legally grow this product, including the industrial hemp and also the marijuana plant for the medicinal oil, that's true wealth that is real true wealth to the people. And it's something that produces over and over and over again. It has many, many, many more times uses than silver. And at one point in time, it was actually used as money, even in this country. So I want to emphasize that. The only thing is, even if this is legal to do, say it became legal, it requires real work. And sometimes I get even mad at people that are on the internet because they're basically a bunch of mouths spewing garbage looking for subscribers to make money. And I've noticed that, the conspiracies and all the garbage that's out there draws the most attention. Simple solutions are actually all that's needed. It's nothing complicated. But the hard part is it's not just a matter of a sell to people, but it's like you're running against an insurance racket, and you're also the worst thing is running against a lethargic majority. The majority are lemmings and they will not act. They only get led. That is 90% of the problem, even more so than the people that have the controlling rackets. But this is actually a real solution to economic problems. Now, Jim Rogers points out that in the future, agriculture is going to be number one. He states that the average age of a farmer in the United States and also Australia, both countries, is 58. What's going to happen 10, 20 years from now? And the average age of the average farmer in Japan is 66. No younger people are getting into this because they want the fast buck yuppie lifestyle that is, I'm special, I have a title, and I know all these codes, and I know all this stuff, and this is what I do, and it's so complex nobody knows it. Well, you know what? It's bullshit. That's all I gotta say. It's bullshit. I've been around this type of stuff. I never sell out all the way into that garbage. I always keep my 1 foot in the real world all times. And I piss off the professional establishment many times. So I don't care. But Jim Rogers is 110% right about this. He says at one point in time, the stockbrokers are going to be on the bottom and the farmers are going to be on top. And the lucky stockbrokers are going to be the ones that figure out how to drive tractors so they can work for the farmers. That is going to be the reality behind the situation, because oil is going to run out. And even despite them trying to play all these games with carbon taxes and cap and trade and all this greenhouse gas tax garbage, well, the oil is running out. It's not going to be able to sustain people. And when people look around and actually figure out the real solution to energy and food, well, obviously the solution to food is growing food, but it's also the solution to energy and medicine. They're going to just do it. Because even today, you look at this. This is industrial hemp. Contains 0.3% THC versus marijuana, which contains 10 to 20% marijuana THC. It's actually non-drug. People are growing marijuana throughout the United States, left and right, all over the place. Now, I don't smoke marijuana. I don't grow marijuana or anything like that. I would say that I find it surprising, though, that a lot of people that grow this stuff don't actually try to administer the marijuana oil to people that need it for cancer treatment. That quite surprises me, and actually I find that greedy that they don't do that. You know, I actually do. I actually do, versus getting high off of this stuff. But I also want to point out this is actually a 1914 Federal Reserve note, and what they had on the note, which is interesting, this is, the first Federal Reserve note, was the farmer. That actually was the backbone of this country. If you look back during, if you go on like Ancestry.com, if you have a subscription to that, and you look back at all the surveys, and you go back so many years, even the 1900s, early 1900s, and look at the occupations of various people throughout the country, almost all of them say farmer. That's like the most prevalent occupation back in the late 1800s, and looking at the early surveys that were done by the U.S. Census, if you're looking at Ancestry.com, that's very, very common. Now, if you look later years, it's all industry. There's hardly any farmers. And you say, well, that's unnecessary because of all the, the mechanization and everything like that. But, it's also created a problem where it's put the most vital resource on this earth into the hands of a few people that are actually modifying the food and different things like that. And I want to state that these issues are far more important than silver. Far more important. Far more important. And this is where I'm going to probably piss off a few people. Maybe, maybe not. But, I've been highly critical of Ron Paul. I like everything he says on the surface in principle. I know his voting record is very good. But, I have also pointed out, I know he says gold is money. Great. I say gold is money. Make me president, whatever. But, and I've been critical of Peter Schiff, too. Because I think they're playing a game, and I have a good nose about me. Believe me. A lot of times, if you have somebody that really upsets the apple cart, they're dead meat. One way or the other. One way or the other. And a lot of people say, well, then we know. Well, you know what? I could point a million cases. The most famous case is JFK, John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy. Yeah, I guess a lot of people figured that out, It was an assassination, and it wasn't just like the lone gunman, right? But, everybody knows why he was killed, because of the Federal Reserve. He was going to knock that out, and he was going to stop the Vietnam War. A couple things right there. Well, you know what? And they could have killed him, actually, by doing it medically, but they did it out in the open. In the case of Ron Paul, he's trying to do way more than JFK ever did in a situation that's much tougher to do. So I say the whole thing's a fake. I could point out more things even about Congressman Larry McDonald, what happened with him. And, if you ever look up that name, Larry McDonald, very conservative congressman back basically along the lines of Ron Paul. But basically, he disappeared during the flight of KAL 007. Now, I want to also put this question out to Ron Paul about, I know he doesn't like to question 911 much. Yeah. Well, I'd also like to put it out to him, along with other people out there I call a bunch of garbage. We do know the answer to the economic problems in the energy crisis in the United States, and a lot of the involvement and entanglements in wars in the Middle East due to oil concerns would be remedied by growing industrial hemp. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Now, I think Ron Paul is smart enough to know this, and I'm sure he's 100% aware of it. But you know what? He wouldn't stick his neck out and say that either. Now, as his supporters, you can gullibly try to convince him to say so, and he might say something, but whatever. I say that guy's a fake. So, to some of my new subscribers about, I know I made this video about silver expectations. It will hit record highs in 2012. I think that's a legitimate prediction, even though it's getting slammed down right now. But I'm not here to try to pick up subscribers. I'm here to tell the truth. That's a difference between me and a lot of other people out there. And I want people to think not just about gaining wealth through silver, but also gaining wealth by health. And health means two different things. Basically, a lot of health comes from nutrition and also certain novel approaches to knocking out diseases. So I'm going to start posting more things than just focusing on metals. And I do want to point out many times, you know, they talk about silver getting deliberately manipulated. It's only silver. Yeah, maybe there's some truth to that. But you know, even when silver got slammed down on April 30th, 2011, it also had a stellar rise for the 2 months prior to that too. So it went up really hard and it crashed really hard. And that seems to be the case with a lot of commodities. So it's not always a big conspiracy. I think the metal is actually a very good investment though. But do beware of all these people out there pushing this garbage left and right, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they act like they do. They don't have a clue. Now, I don't know the price of silver on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. I expected this pullback to be over with sometime in April. Now, I'm gonna still say that silver's gonna go way up for this year, because I think there's people out there that are gonna push, that are on that have a lot of influence in this country, that don't want Obama to survive in office. And one way to do that is to push commodities up very high. I think the action by the CME recently, when they were trying to push up all the margin rate increases 35% across the board, I don't think that exactly came from the CME. I think that came somehow indirectly through the Obama administration. But you got to remember, he doesn't really control everything. There's games going on back and forth, and when this war starts with Iran, I don't know about this 3-week deal they keep predicting. They used to say that about World War I too, right? So, I mean, they don't know for sure. I think it's actually going to spike oil up like crazy. So, and that's going to also spike up gold maybe too, somewhat too. And you might see the metals all follow after that. But it's going to break the budget, like I stated before. It's going to break the budget when it's to have this war with Iran. It's going to be very expensive. It's probably not going to be 3 weeks. That's BS. Because what happens after that happens, they're going to have a presence in the area for a long time. And who the hell are they kidding, right? And it's going to be very expensive. So, you know what's going to happen to U.S. debt? It's going to get downgraded again. So hang on to the metals. But don't go thinking because silver went down there's another buying opportunity. If you're already loaded up on silver, I would not buy anymore. I think that's stupid. But I'm not. I'm just holding steady right now. And I do want to point out again that there's other ways that are far more important to individual wealth than the metals. If you had millions of dollars and you lose your health, what the hell good is the millions of dollars? Health is number one. So I'm going to have a lot of emphasis on that too, also in the future.